Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Khepra. And today, November 4th, 2019, there was a question posed to me, and I thought it'd be a good question to ask on this platform and share my thoughts and opinions on this question. And the question is, should we be eating more or eating less? Our question is actually, should we be eating more for the fall-winter season? All right, so I thought this would be a good question. So we're going to get into it. Before I get into it, if you like this video, if you like my videos, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell if you'd like to get notified when I put out new content. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. So, should we be eating more or less? So if you're familiar with the work and a lot of my videos, you would probably say yes. And you should say yes, you should be eating less, not more. Even with the colder temperatures, you may feel cold, you may feel like you want that additional comfort in the form of food. You know, with the fact that we become more sedentary, we maybe spend less time outside, and there also could be some things going on emotionally, you know, with the season and the cycle, with the sun and the moon, you know, so those things are going to affect our food, not only our food choices, but the consumption and how much we consume. So we should definitely be eating less. And the principal reason that we should be eating less and not more is because of the sun. The sun is going through its waning period, and November, December are its weakest months. It's on the decline each and every day from now into the winter solstice. So what does that mean? Well, let's put it in perspective, because you know our whole day and all of our activities are generated from the sun. You know, we wake up with the sun. We go to sleep essentially with the sun. So if the sun is at its weakest time of the year, that means our digestion connected also to the sun. Digestion is probably the number one activity that we do during the day. Okay, and we just put food in our mouths and rely and expect our digestion to handle it. Okay, and the thing is, like, as the sun is getting weaker and weaker, in reference to a 24-hour period, then our digestion is getting weaker and weaker. But we may start consuming more food, making digestion or making the body work more when it really wants to work less. So that's going to create a dilemma, and that dilemma usually creates things like congestion. It can create excess mucus, which is again going to create congestion. And that excess mucus could lead to things like the flu. It could generate things that lead to more serious illnesses, like diabetes, and what's the other one? Hypertension. But then also things less serious, you know, headache, migraine, and all the other things like that's happening to us each and every day, where it may force us to go to the hospital or go see our medical practitioner, who is going to more than likely administer something over the counter, or even if it's quote unquote natural in the form of a herb or some other kind of health supplement, again, when you over consume food, it's like you want to create excess fire. And where there's fire, there's smoke. And that smoke is mucus. Okay, so we think that the cold temperatures create mucus. And this is like the furthest hypocrisy that we can ever want to believe. Just because it gets cold, your nose don't start running, or you start coughing. Okay, the body creates mucus because you're eating excess, and not only eating excess, you start eating more condensed food. So you're eating heavy starches, heavy cooked starches. Because yes, this is a time that we should eat more condensed food in the form of, namely, squash, like pumpkin and different zucchini, squashes, which are in season right now. Pumpkin, I think I said that already. Yes, pumpkin, squashes, persimmon, which I have right here. This is persimmon. Green leafy vegetables, but different nuts and seeds and things. But you're eating different unhealthy starches. And if they're like wheat based or even multi-grain, whatever that is, these things usually you're going to have to add some sort of oil or some sort of fat like butter or cream. These things are going to create excess mucus. And that excess mucus is going to rear itself in a time where our bodies are actually becoming weaker and weaker. Just like we get weaker and weaker as the day goes on into the night. We can't think as strong, we can't act as strong versus the first part of the day. I even tried to do this video last night and I couldn't do it. I just didn't have the energy to complete it. So I said, you know what? It is that time of the year. I should not really be overexerting myself mentally in order to create this video. Even though all the information is right here and what I want to express, it was just difficult, exerting that energy. And I have to respect the time that we're in. When we're in the spring months, going in February, March, April, May, that's when the wind is at our back. That's when our digestion is very strong. That's when it's, ironically enough, not flu season. It's flu season now. Because again, we can't process. And we think that flu or any of these illnesses come from germs. And it is like the greatest trick ever pulled, on our society. We got so-called smart people believing, looking under microscopes, believing like this thing is going to attack you just because the temperature is colder. It's just ridiculous. So it's very simple. We eat, if we eat food that creates mucus, then that's going to create discomfort. That's going to be something like, again, you have to start eating less and going into fasting. And the thing is, like, now the body uses that excess mucus as fuel. Okay, we use that excess smoke to clear itself. So as we move through the day, the body intelligently heals itself by us stop eating or eating less. So this is a time we should really be weaning almost off food. This is a somewhat hibernation season. There are obviously animals in different parts of the world that go into hibernation. Where do all the insects and mosquitoes and, go? I mean, certainly they don't die. They go somewhere. And then they come back with vengeance in the spring. So that's how we really should tailor our movement. Yeah, we don't sleep for months at a time, or even day, or maybe you may sleep for maybe some days at a time, but ideally we don't sleep for days at a time, weeks at a time, or definitely not months at a time. But we can temper our activities so that we kind of go into a sort of a quasi-hibernation period where now as we move past the winter solstice into the new year, into the new decade, we can come with the vengeance for anything we want to do. Accomplishing your goals, living your purpose, being your best self. But this time is that time to recognize, look, I should be eating less. I should be sleeping more. I should be praying, meditating more. I should be taking stock of how this past year went. And not just this past year, this past decade as we move into 2020. Okay. Me personally, I would hope for this to be, I'm looking forward to this being the best year to come. As I've shared on here, some of the challenges and difficulties. So it's been great in a sense where I was able to learn and overcome for the most part. Okay, so yes, we should be eating less. We should be preparing our bodies for definitely fasting for the winter solstice. Definitely one of the best, strongest times to fast, to prepare your body almost for sleep as we go into 2020. And we also, this is also not, for those of you that maybe do more raw seasonally and then eat more cooked during this season, if anything, it should be the reverse. This is really the season to definitely be eating more raw versus cooked food. Like I said, cooked food is going to create smoke. And that smoke is going to basically smoke, aka mucus. And that's going to create discomfort. I mentioned the foods earlier: squashes, persimmons, green leafy vegetables, nuts and seeds. If I have time, maybe I could do some demo videos, as far as winter raw foods and how we should eat in order to get us through this season. Okay, but definitely want to eat less. Less is best. Less is more. And if we were to look at this astrologically, which gives us more of a spiritual perspective on this season. In the sidereal zodiac, we are still in the sign, the sun is still in the sign of Libra. And Libra is relationships. Okay? With the relationship season, our first relationship is with food. So if we're feeling unsatisfied, we're feeling disappointed in our relationship, then we're going to have an unhealthy relationship more than likely with food. Okay, and basically this is going to affect our health, which is going to affect everything else. It's going to affect our work. It's going to affect our emotions. Okay? But more importantly, as we go from Libra goes into what? Scorpio. And we move into Scorpio around the 15th of this month, November 15th on a sidereal zodiac. Sidereal zodiac is the actual zodiac. It's what an astronomer, if an astronomer was to look at the stars, you see that the sun is still in Libra and will move into Scorpio from November 15th to around December 15th. So this is a powerful time because Scorpio is about transformation. So you got to ask yourself, do you want to die? Because Scorpio is about death and rebirth. But we can die. We can have the old self die and create a new self, a higher self, one that's going to transform into something much greater. Or we can transform into something much worse. It's going to be one or the other. Scorpio, there's no middle with Scorpio. There's no compromise with Scorpio. It's death and transformation. So your emotional self has to be in order. Your diet has to be in order as it gets colder. When the sun is in Scorpio, as we move into that in a couple weeks, when the moon, because the moon is getting stronger, as the sun gets weaker, it's waning, the moon cycles are stronger. So full moon, which is coming up, but when the sun is in Scorpio, the moon turns full in Taurus. And what is Taurus? Taurus is comfort. And we find comfort in food. So especially for the females, which the females, if your relationships and your emotional self is not in check, then you're definitely going to be running towards the comfort foods in this season, which for a lot of women, starch, cooked heavy starches, potatoes, rice, wheat, in the form of either sweets or it could be salt, but it's going to be starch. And these are false fillers. These are things that not only create mucus, but they basically are a lie. They lack zero nutrition, and they keep you coming back. They're the worst. They're drugs. They're not even food. You're eating drugs. Because that's what a true drug does. It gets you reliant on it. And so where you keep eating, but you never get fulfilled. And that's why starch, cooked starches are the #1 drugs on the street. Forget even prescription drugs or recreational drugs. No, it's the most socially accepted lie that everyone indulges in, most of our society, is that cooked starch, and especially in this season. We have a feasting holiday in that period. And then another holiday right after that, where food is at the center of it. Okay, so hopefully I've given you a lot to think about. It's time to really be eating less, not more. And I really want you to transform, use this Scorpio period to transform into your best self and not your worst self as we go into a new decade, 2020. All right, once again, if you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please comment below. I try to respond to all of the comments. And hit the notification bell. Today I will actually also be beginning my class. If you happen to see this video today, you're in this area, you're interested in taking my classes. I'll be doing classes all this week. Yeah, hit me up. send me a message, and I'll give you that information. We still have availability. Okay, so that's all for now. I wish you a happy fall season. We're going to this winter solstice. I will be trying to post more in this time, so that it can hopefully give you the inspiration to do better, so we can all be better. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Peace.